Welcome to day 19 of the course in Mastery. Today, Tom Wood is going to talk about finding balance and creating your ideal life. Then, Dr. Barbara DeAngelis is going to talk about real moments. Here's Tom.
When I was 27 years old, I had accomplished what I thought was a dream life. I was working for a prestigious company. I was a management consultant to Fortune 500 companies in technology. I traveled the world as an expert and gave presentations on the technology industry. I made a large six-figure income. I was quoted in New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, and over 200 publications around the world. But I was missing one thing: balance. I didn't have time for a relationship. My family barely got to see me. My health suffered, and my company owned me because I let them. In fact, one day, I was just 3 days away from taking a vacation to Europe, and boom, I had to get on a plane and go to Tokyo to close a deal. It wasn't a really great life, although from the outside, it looked like the dream life. Finally, the frustration got to me. I decided I had to take a break. I went to Florida, to the Florida Keys, at the Dolphin Research Center to study and swim and work with dolphins. It was going to be an exciting break from the ordinary. The dolphins are amazing animals. They communicate in ways we don't even understand yet. At the Dolphin Research Center, they studied how dolphins communicate and how they behave. One of the things they did was teach dolphins new behaviors. In fact, they could teach a dolphin to jump in the air and do flips like you've probably seen at SeaWorld or in the movies. At the Dolphin Research Center, this is where they trained Flipper from the show in the 1950s. One day I was sitting on the dock watching the dolphins on a warm Florida sunny day next to a beautiful blonde marine biologist. And something struck me. I thought to myself, why do the dolphins sit here and do tricks for food when they can just jump out of the pens, which are on the side of the ocean, and swim out and be free? So I turned to the trainer and I said, why do they do tricks for food when they can jump out and be free? Now, she knew what was going on in my life. She knew the frustrations I had. And she looked at me very plainly and said, Tom, why don't you? Why don't you jump? Wow. That night, I sat on the beach and watched the sunset over the Gulf of Mexico. And I pondered this question that started to invade my soul. Are you really free? Are you? I thought to myself, what am I doing? Where's the balance in my life? Where's the joy? Am I just so focused, so one-sided that I can't be a full, whole person? So I'm going to ask you a very similar question. And I want you to take out your journal and write this question down. And then I'm going to ask you to answer it. Not right now, but at some point I want you to answer that. Here's the question. What is the perfect life for you? Not for your husband or your wife, not for your parents, not for your friends. What is the perfect life for you? In answering that question, I want you to answer some other questions too. What kind of work would you do? How much time would you take off? What would your relationships be like? Who would your relationships be with? What kind of shape would you be in? How much time would you spend staying fit? How much time would you spend on you? How much would you spend giving back? Right from beginning to end, from the beginning of the day to the end of the day, what it would feel like, what it would look like, what things would sound like, the energy that you have in that day. Do that right now.
One of the leading experts on relationships, a well-respected leader in the area of personal growth, and the author of 13 best-selling books, Dr. Barbara DeAngelis has reached millions of people with her positive messages about love, happiness, and the search for meaning in life. In this clip, she discusses what truly makes you happy and how not to get thrown off balance. She explains that happiness is a skill, not an acquisition. I think you'll appreciate what she has to say.
The final thing about not taking the long way home is remembering what truly is going to make you happy and not getting thrown off balance. And that brings me to the phrase I've used several times, real moments. A lot of us in this country spend our time thinking that the more we have and the more we get and the more we do, we're going to be happy. You know, I'll be happy when I lose weight. I'll be happy when I find a husband. I'll be happy when I sell X amount and get into this club and that club. I'll be happy when I win an award. I'll be happy when. We postpone our happiness until you get something. And then you get what you thought would make you happy. You feel good for a few minutes. And then you're thinking of the next thing. Okay, now I'll be happy when. And at some point in your life, and I'm going to tell you a secret right now, a secret told to me by the richest people in the world, a secret true for me. At some point in your life, you have a lot of the stuff you thought would make you happy. You've done the things you thought would make you happy. And you realize that they have had no effect on you. Maybe they fulfilled you, but they haven't made you happy. They're not what it's about. And you panic, and that's called a midlife crisis. A midlife crisis used to be, this was when men were the only ones working, a man would work for 25 years thinking, if I have a house and I have a car and I send my kids to college, then I'll be a happy person. That's what I'm supposed to do. And he'd do it. He'd wake up at 45. He'd look at himself in the mirror and say, I'm miserable. He'd go out and get a blonde in a sports car. That's really a spiritual crisis. It's saying, if all these things aren't making me happy, what have I been doing? And I want to tell you something that I learned in the last 2 years, and that is happiness is a skill, not an acquisition. If you can't be happy right now with who you are and what you have, you're not going to be happy when you get the stuff you think is going to do it for you. It's not going to do it. It's not going to do it. I was sitting around in my house about 2 years ago, before I wrote Real Moments. And a friend had just called me up and said, Barbara, I haven't talked to you in 6 months. What a year. Your books are on the bestsellers list. You have an infomercial. You're married. Gosh, you must be so happy. And I stopped, and I noticed I had a funny feeling, and I pay attention to funny feelings. I take them very seriously. So I spent the day thinking, what is this funny feeling I'm having? And I looked at my life and where I had come from. And I came from nothing. I grew up with absolutely nothing. I've had no breaks. I have not had luck. It has been a very slow, steady process of success. I have not had people give me things. I haven't had people make connections for me. It has been me doing it. That's been something I know I chose. And I did have a lot that was more than I could have ever dreamed of as a child. But when I checked, I wasn't happy. And then I thought, when have been the moments in the last year when I was happy? And you can think about this right now. And in your mind, ask yourself, what were a few moments when I just felt really happy, really peaceful, really great with myself in life? I guarantee you they were not moments when you made sales, when you made money. Maybe they were simple things like one of your little kids ran up to you and gave you a hug and said, Daddy, I love you. Maybe it was a moment when you and your partner were taking a walk and all of a sudden you smelled the flowers in the grass and you looked around and you said, it's beautiful here. I'm alive. I call those real moments. The moments that truly give life meaning. The moments when you die and you are on your deathbed, you will look back and cherish. Nobody on their deathbed, nobody, I imagine, who has any sense of consciousness lies there and thinks, damn, I should have gone to work more. God, I never got rid of that cellulite. Jeez. Why didn't I get a new car in '94? God. The things we regret are, I didn't love more. I didn't pay attention. I let months, years go by. I wasn't even there. I was thinking about the future. When this happens, then I'll have made it. And I realized I was suffering from what I call real moment deprivation. I was so busy achieving and succeeding and making a difference. I was not paying attention to the moments that really give my life meaning. I wasn't having enough of them. Now, I'm not talking about taking time away. I'm talking about paying attention to what you're doing when you're doing it. I realized this when I was walking my dog one day. I was walking my dog, and 10 minutes into the walk, I realized I was not on the walk. I was walking him, but I was thinking about the dry cleaners, the phone call I had just had, the project I was doing. You know, Martians could have been walking by. I wouldn't even have noticed them. I wasn't present on that walk. How much of the time do you spend doing things automatically? Driving, talking on the phone, even listening to people, but you're thinking about the next thing and the next thing. You're not there. You're not present. You can't have a moment. See, if right now you're thinking, okay, let's see, when's the break, when's lunch, what am I going to do this afternoon? You're not here. You're not getting it. You're missing what I'm saying. You can't have a moment here with me. If I'm sitting here thinking, okay, I'm going to be done, I'm going to have a meeting, I'm going to take the car back, you'd feel it, wouldn't you? You'd feel it. You might not know it. You might say she was interesting. You'd feel part of me was gone. But I'm completely here. This is the only place to be. This is the only moment there is. Right now is always the only moment we have. And then right now, you can only be happy from moment to moment, but you have to be present. And we miss so much of it. We don't have enough real moments with our spouses, with our children, with the people we work with ourselves, with nature. Just paying attention to what's there. Let me read you something that I started out my book with, because I just think this is so important. It's an anonymous quote that I read somewhere. First, I was dying to finish high school and start college. Remember that? Then I was dying to finish college and start working. And then I was dying to marry and have kids. And then I was dying for the kids to grow older so we could travel. And then I was dying to retire. And now I'm dying. And suddenly I realize I forgot to live. And isn't this how we live so much of our time? Can't wait till summer vacation. Can't wait till this. Can't wait till I make this. Can't wait till the big convention. And how many of you are already thinking about going home? See, that's what we do in life. We race through because we have forgotten how to be here. And so we miss those moments of connection. If you're talking to somebody and you're trying to share your product, your interest with them, you have to be there. You have to be there. That's the only 5 minutes in your life. And not only will you hopefully make a sale, you will have a real moment. You will feel the soul of that person. There will be a moment when the humanness in the two of you connect and you feel that joy. We are both here. We are on this planet. We are alive. Those moments are magnificent. If you are not having enough of them, you are probably feeling restless as I speak right now. You can't wait to get out of here. I'm making you uncomfortable. You need more real moments. When people don't have enough real moments, they eat more, they drink more, they watch TV constantly, because they need stimulation to not feel the vacuum of meaninglessness in their life.
Perhaps it's possible to find balance in life no matter where you are. Reflect for a minute every once in a while and ask yourself if you're in the habit of living in the moment and enjoying the real moments that life presents. Tomorrow, we're going to discuss the true purpose for your life and how realizing it can change everything you feel and do. See you tomorrow.